We are here at Kinos Rentals and we are comparing these two anamorphic lens sets. Blazar Remus and Atlas Mercury's. They are both 1.5x anamorphic full-frame lenses. This is not a review, this is more like a test scenario. So both are full-frame 1.5x anamorphic lenses, but in different price points. Both are lightweight compared to traditional anamorphics, and both are so-called vintage look lenses. So what do you get with these more expensive Atlas Mercurys, and are these Blazars suitable for professional jobs? You can see here some, this is quite straight here. From the corners it starts bending a little bit. But nothing too serious.
Nothing too serious, yeah.
Check, the center is quite sharp here, and it goes like around, I don't know, maybe here it starts to fall apart, but in the beautiful way. We can see here a little bit chromatic aberration, but nothing too serious again,
Yeah, it's not bad.
Super clear lens and sharp. Here the sharpness is quite visible if I'm reading the chart correctly. Not too much of that kind of a blooming or anything. Should we try going to 5.6 then?
Let's go to 5.6.
5.6 it is. This box here, it's much more sharper now. Chromatic aberration is almost away from here, but it's still affecting this area. So, the corners, there's this kind of a, I don't know, what would you call it, this kind of a round kind of a fall off. It goes, until the corners, we don't know the terminology.
Yeah.
We use our own code here. Yeah, 3.0 is like the open wide, and let's go back to 800, ISO 800. And let's do the battle distortion first. You do some panning here, yeah. I don't know, does it feel similar, or do you feel, is it more extreme?
I think it's quite similar actually.
Yeah.
And you can see a little less contrast in these compared to the Mercury.
Yeah, maybe.
Just a tiny bit.
We need to check those like side by side, but yeah, it feels like so. And I think one of the key features of these anamorphic lenses are these, barrel distortion, chromatic aberration stuff. Do you remember with the Mercurys that was it like this, if you center the frame, was it like this blurry here?
I think this might be a little bit more...
Maybe more extreme.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think now the chromatic aberration is much more, in control here. We don't have that much, too much. But if you go to the corners, you can see this side of the test chart. You can see that definitely it's there.
Yeah. We get maybe a little bit more different colors there. Some red lines.
Mercury was like, didn't have that many like colors of the rainbow kind of stuff. It was maybe more like passive in that way. Yeah. I don't know. We have that 35mm here as well, but that's not a full frame lens. It's Super 35, but we're gonna check that out, of course. It's kind of crazy. So, but there is a workaround, you can crop in and do some like a lens correction. Yeah. But yeah, this is kind of the wild card of this set, because this is not full frame. If you're shooting Super 35, you will get a wide lens.
Yeah.
That's for sure. I think this is the matter of time going upstairs and check it in the actual scenario with the real people. This could be a good cue to the upstairs. This is downstairs. Why are we shooting a scene? We want to see a real-life scenario. We want to see how the lenses are to work with. We want to see the feeling, how do they look with your own eyes versus laboratory tests. This kind of a comparison in general. And while shooting a scene, we're concentrating on barrel distortion. That's where we're doing these dolly tracking shot with panning. We're also doing some rack focusing to see the lens breathing. And we're gonna do some lens flare tests.
Sun. Sinnehän se muljahti.
So this is like the composition now is a little bit off, where Sara is like in the corner. But this lens actually, it's not struggling that much with this kind of, it doesn't do that kind of a squeezing like the lens before this was, like squeezing Sara's head like extremely.
It's making much more angel balls.
Angel balls?
Yeah.
You mean these kind of
flares.
Flares. I don't know if that's kind of a official.
That sounds a bit off.
Angel balls. I think the flares are way more different than the Blazar ones. These are more like, they look like anamorphic flares than, I think the Blazars are more artificial in a sense. But luckily we're not after the flares. It's got some kind of a blooming, and I don't know how do you call it, but
This is like Hollywood vintage.
Hollywood vintage, yeah. This is like a old Hollywood, and then we go to the a bit more expensive lens. You can see clearly it's much sharper. But without losing the backgrounds, those kind of artifacts, or are they artifacts? Maybe they are, yeah. Yeah, let's call it that way. Do you want to see my Ryan Gosling impersonation?
Yes, please. You have one? Oh my god!
As you mentioned, this is now the 72mm and the close focus isn't that good, so we needed to take the camera a little bit further away from the foreground talent. And then simultaneously we're gonna do the similar shot compared to the background, because these ratios don't match, but still.
And of course the focal distance was different.
Focal distance was different, of course, yes. But still, we can see how crisp these lenses are, and still like the separation from the foreground, midground and background are like superb versus compared to Blazar. Blazar does the same, but it's not that sharp, so it's easily comparable, to see these like differences.
I agree.
You agree. We just finished shooting the tests, and this is what we got. Oh, the last ones, we actually did the close-ups, and we tried the Mercury 72 versus Remus 100mm. With the 72mm, the close focus wasn't that good. We couldn't get that close as with the Remus. But with the 72 Mercury, the image quality was overall much more sharper than the Remus. But the 100mm Remus had a very bloomy look and a little bit of chromatic aberration, but nothing to be too worried about. So which one to choose? Well, it's up to you, it's up to your taste and needs, and what do you prefer. Mercurys are sharper and less distorted and safer for post-work. So I don't know, it's a matter of your wallet which ones you want to choose, but at least you have some options to choose from the rental houses.